Hello gorgeous people! In case you couldn't guess by my introduction banner, today I'm going to be playing with some beautiful Jane Davenport products from Spellbinders. I'm going to be using an Arch smooth watercolour paper and the wonderful foundation layers stencil set from Jane. Now this video is all about making a simple easy face, so if you're a beginner or not very confident with your drawing, this one is so for you, and so are these products. Start by using the combination of stencils provided in the set to create a basic face with hair and just some basic shoulders and a really simple dress. You can see I haven't done very much to that at all, just so it looks really natural. Using the same stencil set, add a nose, eyes and mouth. Now I've just marked in the center point so I knew where to put them there. Now because stencils aren't exactly the full drawing, I'm then using a watercolor pencil, the same one I used to draw the face, just to flesh out some of the shadows and fill in some of the lips, the eyes, the hair. Add a bit of your own flourishes to the hair, make it a bit bigger or wavier, whatever you like, make it yours. Now once you've got the basic face drawn and the basic shadows, use one of Jane's beautiful ultimate pens. Now I'm using the matte pen, which is called Black Lace, and I'm going to use that to outline my drawing. Now this is waterproof when dry, so it'll be fantastic using my everything over the top of it when I'm finished. Make sure your lines are varying thicknesses to make it look more interesting, and just go and fill in that beautiful face that you've drawn. I'm adding a few extra little details as well, and be careful when you're using the black pen on the face. It can very easily look too dark, so I'm just adding a few little bits where I know the darkest areas will be to start with. Then grab those ColorSticks. These are the most beautiful, melty, activated with water, yummy products, and I'm using the set called Silky Skin, which is just perfect for this. Now I haven't waited quite long enough and my ultimate pen isn't quite dry, so I'm just giving a bit of a heat set just so I don't make a mess. Now start with the hair. This is the easiest part. Use a variety of colours here, and my really simple technique for getting awesome hair is don't add more colour to the brush. Now I'm using a water brush here and I'm picking a little bit of colour directly off the pen and then just continuing to use that colour until the brush has nothing left on it. And this way you get a beautiful variation in colour that looks so natural and so pretty. Now areas where you want it to be darker, pick up a little bit more colour and just add more depth to the colour. Make it yummy and pretty. Now I'm going to add a few darker areas as well, but I'm using the same technique. So start and then just keep using the colour on the brush until it's all finished. Now for this, I kind of want a few highlighted areas, so like the top of the hair. So sort of make sure to leave a few areas with a little bit of lightness there, just for some, the look of yumminess. How do I describe that? It makes it look prettier. Now there's no special technique involved. I'm not worrying about light sources and anything fancy here. This is just for beginners to make something beautiful, and it is so easy to do with these lovely products. So if you would like a bit of hair, you can see that I'm doing now, that is darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. Then just add a little bit of darker colour to the base of that lock. And the way I've drawn this in sections makes it so easy to add the colour later. It's kind of a little trick. Now I'm going in and adding a much darker colour here, and I'll add that in some complete locks of hair, and then I'll also use that to add or make other areas a little bit darker. So start by adding just individual colours and then see how the hair looks. If you'd like it darker, just go ahead and make it happen. You can't really do anything wrong here. It's just playing, and stop when you think it's finished, stop when you like it. Now I've left a lot of variation in mine because this is how I wanted it, and you can have yours as varied or as different or as you like. if you're more confident with light sources and hair, you can absolutely do something a bit more realistic. But for me, I'm just trying to do something pretty, because some days I just want to make something fun. I don't want to stress out about it, and pop something in my journal and just enjoy the process. Now the next step is to start adding the base layer of the skin tone. Now I'm again just using the Silky skin set of the ColorSticks, and I've added the lightest colour as my base. Now I'm actually blending this in with that light purple watercolour pencil, so I'm getting not quite the pure colour here. I'm getting a bit of sort of a dirtier colour with that purple added in, but I really like that, and you get some beautiful variety just out of that one colour. So add the base layer. Don't add colour to the entire face, just start with this particular colour, adding it where you've got your darker areas. Now I know that sounds strange since this is the lightest colour, but consider this your primer, step one. So you need to add this where it'll be darker later. Now you've got a real opportunity here to make it beautiful by just adding more than one layer of the same colour. And this is so wonderful with these products because you can get such a wide variety of tones from that same colour stick. So I'm just using those two pale colour sticks and flick a little bit over the back of your page while you're working, because then you'll have a ready-made background ready to go. So I'm just using those two palest colours in varying intensities to build up the basic colours, light and shade on the face. So I've left little cheeks, I've got one side of the face darker than the other, I've made the nose quite prominent and the inset where the eyes are, as you can see, it's all much darker on one side than the other. And then I'm just going around the edges of the face and under the eyes and under the hair and down one side of the neck, just to start layering up those colours, because it's all about layers with this product. I'm adding some purple for the eyes. This is my base layer, so I go really, really light. I find it's really easy to make the eye colour too dark because you've added a colour that's too dark to begin with, and then you've got nowhere to go later. So start really pale, and I like to add a little bit of whatever colour I've added to the eyes into the tones of the skin. I just find it looks more interesting that way, and you end up with, instead of sort of a flat colour, because you've got other colours in there, it's more interesting to look at. It really looks prettier. So give it a whirl. Even if it's blue or purple, pinks, you could have added a bit of the brown from the hair into the face tones if you'd like. Just give it a go. I promise you, as long as you add it lightly, so little bit by little bit, you can build up the most gorgeous colours. So I'm using the purple to help enhance the areas that would have shadow. And you can see here I'm just putting a little bit around the nose. Now I've got a paper towel just in case any of it gets a bit too dark and you just blot it off very quickly. I've also got that towel for changing between colours, because then it looks a little bit more beautiful if the colour is clean. Sometimes it doesn't matter and you can kind of leave a bit of colour on the brush, but other times you really do need to make an effort to clean it off. So just keep adding that beautiful light purple into the face and splatter a bit over the background while you're at it until you've started to build up a little bit of variety of colour, light and shade. You can sort of see that face starting to come together. Now, even at this point, there are still areas on my page where I haven't added any water or any colour. The cheeks, the chin, the lips, the bridge of the nose, and you can kind of see that here. But I've done that on purpose so that these areas will remain very light and very pale, so that we can add more colour towards the end, because you can always add more colour, make things darker, really difficult to take it away. I found out this the hard way more than once. Got to learn these things a few times sometimes. Now I'm going to add some beautiful pink to the lips, but depending on how much water you've got on the page, you might need to wait until that first layer is dry before doing this, because it's quite possible that the pink could bleed into the surrounding area. Now I'm using the colour left on my brush to add a little bit of pink to the cheek, and remove any harsh lines that have formed because that area was dry. Now I'm getting a little bit of bleeding around the lips at this point, so I'm just going to dry this off with my heat tool so that I'm ready to go. This won't take very long, I promise. Now once that base layer is nice and dry, it doesn't have to be completely dried off, just not have wet areas near the lips and the eyes and the cheeks. So dry it until it's sort of semi-dry, and then you can really go and add more colour to the lips. Now, a bit like the eyes, it's best to add a very pale layer to start with, so that you can build up on top of that. Don't go too dark to start with, you've got nowhere to go. I'm just going to use the exact same colour pink that I've used on the lips to colour in the dress, just so that there's a bit of that other pink colour in the image. You don't ever want something sort of sitting there by itself. I like to try and sneak it in somewhere else as well. Now it's time to start adding some darker colours. Again, I said this is all about layering. This is the beginning of the darker layers. So grab a beautiful darker pink and add that to the top lip, and then the really dark purple and reds. And we're going to add a little bit of darkness to the eyes, but again, keep it minimal, because you can finish that off with pencils, and if you do it too dark now, you can't really add anything. Now I'm going to use this same beautiful dark purple just to add some more prominent shadows, and this really helps give the face a feeling of sort of 3D and depth. Now I'm not going to do this like too arty. I want to keep it simple so that it doesn't matter if you're not quite sure what you're doing. You can see all I did there is add a little bit down the bottom near the neck and a bit to one side of the nose only, so that it looks like it's more in shadow. Any of the colour you add, make sure you blend it out a little bit so that you don't end up with this weird line as it dries. You've probably found out all about watermarks with using watercolour products before. I certainly have. I'm adding a few more flicks to the background, and honestly, just the flicks of the same colours that you're using almost finishes the background without you needing to do anything. And if you're trying to do a simple journal page, this is a great way to make it blend and make your image look like part of a page without looking too odd. So go ahead and add that darker colour to the top lip, and then if you've got any of those weird watery lines, and you'll know them when you see them, kind of looks like a funky puddle edge, I like to call it. Just go ahead with a clean water brush and blend those out a little bit. It won't take very much effort to get rid of those on watercolour paper. If you're not using watercolour paper, it could be a bit more difficult. Now, of course, if you don't have a water brush, you can absolutely use Jane's gorgeous paint brushes. Spellbinders has done a beautiful job with these. They are super yum. Now, once the image is dry, or while you're waiting for it to dry, I've just grabbed my Squid ink in Cave Black, and I'm adding a little stamp. Now, this one says Wild and Free, and it's from the Mad Confetti set. And I'm just going to add this down, I think the bottom of the image, just to finish my page off. And this is all that will need, because it is just going to look so pretty with that image being right at the front, right in your face. Now this bit I'm not going to speed up because I want you to see how much of a difference this product makes. These are the drama sticks, and this is the Ocean Eyes set. I've just grabbed the black. Pretend you're adding eyeliner to your own eyes with this product. So I've just added it just sort of around the edges there, and I'm just going to blend it with this cute little blender called a Baton blender, and you will not believe the difference this thing makes. So it's taken the page from really pretty, and with the addition of one product, you will get seriously smoky eyes that ramp up the drama and make this look like a whole other picture. I have been so surprised by how little of this product you need to make such a big difference. Now, if you're not getting it smoky enough, just add a little bit more product and then blend it out again. But honestly, really, add a tiny bit at a time, because once this sort of gets warmed and starts smudging, it goes a long way, and you can make a really big mess if you add too much. The other tip that I've got for you is don't press too hard on the pencil, because they are so soft and silky, you can snap it off. And I don't mean snap the pencil in half, I just mean snap the top off the lead. I don't know what it is, it's this creamy, yummy stuff, but it's really super soft. So just go really easy on it, press very, very lightly, and it will be your new best friend. Just look at what it is doing to those eyes. It's taken it from, cute girl to, really sultry kind of look to the eyes. And I haven't done anything else, just added that one product, the Drama Sticks. If I have to recommend something that I haven't seen in any other range, it's these, and they are so cool. I love them. So I'm just going over this one last time to get a little bit of extra black. And the nice thing is once these are dried, they're not, they don't really continue to be smudgy. So you'll get a really, really nice effect without having to worry about yucky things happening afterwards. Now it's time to finish the image with just a little bit of detail. So I've grabbed my magic wands from Jane, and these are yummy little pencils that work beautifully, and they've got all of Jane's favourite colours, so they kind of coordinate with her other products. So I'm just going to use these to add detail. So this is why I was saying before, don't add too much colour to the eyes and the lips, because you can go and finish it off just with some pencils and darken it up, and that way you've got a little bit more control, because when you're working with the water brush and the ColorSticks, it's a bit easy to overdo it, make a mess, have it go somewhere you don't want it necessarily, whereas with the pencils you've got a bit more control and you can sort of get it exactly where you want it. So I'm just using the beautiful pale purple to go and enhance some of those shadows and the eyes, and I'm not just using it in one spot, so I'm going to use this on the skin, the lips, the eyes, the shadows around the neck. Now don't be worried if it's not totally smooth, it doesn't need to be. This is just the most beautiful look. You can go over it with one of the skin tones if you'd like to make it a bit more subtle, but honestly it is so pretty that I'm just using it as is. Now I've just grabbed the black pencil here, but I think I'm going to go over with my beautiful Ultimate pen again. That matte black is just stunning. Or if you would like to make the little pupils of the eyes stand out a bit more, use the Hot Vinyl, which is the glossy version, and that will sort of give the pupils a little bit of difference from the rest of the image and make them stand out just that little bit more. Now, you might think it's strange, but I'm going to add a little bit of blue in here. So both the darker blue and the paler aqua in both the eyes and the skin tone. And just have a bit of a play to make that a bit more yours. A little bit of red for the lips, just to enhance that top lip a bit. And then I'm going to use my secret weapon to finish it off. Now, my secret weapon is something I use on almost all of my projects, and that is a white Sharpie paint pen. And I do two different things with this. I use it for beautiful highlights, and you can see I just use my finger to sort of blend it and make it look a little bit less white. And then I also use it with a water brush. So if any area looks shiny or the colour's a little bit too prominent, I'll dab the Sharpie pen onto my project and then blend out the colour, the paint, with just a water brush, and it mattifies the area and sort of knocks back the colour a little bit, but it's still translucent. So add a little bit of Sharpie marker, and then before it dries, go over it with the water brush and just sort of blend it out. You can see I'm doing that here, and it gives the most gorgeous, gorgeous finish. So it helps highlight an area without looking like you've slapped white paint on top of it. Really beautiful, and it's working so well with all of Jane's products. It just blends in there beautifully. Now we are almost finished. There is not much left to do because this is our simple face and you don't want to make it too fussy. And I know that if you grab a few things, especially those stencils, you can do this at home. You don't need to be frightened that you can't do it, because as you can see, you really can. And I think you'll agree, it's a really pretty face, and I didn't need to do any drawing. I just had to add a little bit of colour, a little bit of product, and take my time, just making sure everything's dry between so you don't make a mess. Key point there. I hope you have enjoyed this little tutorial on how to make faces simply, and that you are inspired to go and create something like this for yourself. Thank you so much, Jane and Spellbinders, for inviting me to show off some of your beautiful new products. I have thoroughly enjoyed using them, and I think I'll be making a few more of these faces. So have a fabulous day, and I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial with Jane Davenport's Foundation Layers Stencil Set, ColorSticks, Drama Sticks, Ultimate Pens, and a lot of fun.